Nakamichi, a name synonymous with high-end audio, back in the day home audio, including the Nakamichi Dragon tape deck. Over the years, they've had many products, mostly home and car audio. Nakamichi was started in 1948 by Itsuro Nakamichi in Tokyo, Japan. Over the years, they've had products such as car audio tape decks, the TD700, the PA300 car audio amplifier, also the PA304, a little bit later into the early 90s. And then what happened with Nakamichi? They kind of went away. But back in 2018, we had a reestablishment of Nakamichi. The name was purchased and new products were developed. I've shown off this 6-channel car audio amplifier 4 years ago. But today on Woot.com, depending on when you're watching this video, there's a lot of Nakamichi stuff for really cheap, including this 3,000 watt amplifier for $82. That's right, 3,000 watts for $82. We had to get one of these in and find out what it's all about. And here it arrived, the Nakamichi NRO-D3000.1 monoblock 3,000 watt car audio amplifier. At the time of this video, it was purchased for $82, which still blows my mind. But yeah, here's the box. Looks pretty cool overall. We'll get into it and see what's inside. There are 2 owner's manuals. One appears to be in Chinese and one is in English. We'll pull out all the other good stuff. And here you see the 2 different manuals. Of course, we need the English one. The other one doesn't really do us much good. We also have a fuse holder, an A&L fuse, a 200 amp A&L fuse. Maybe that'll give you an idea of the true output of this amp. We'll see. Also have some of Allen's keys. Why the heck do we have those? And also the high-level adapter and some mounting screws. Then we have the bass remote and the bass cable via a telephone-style connection. And this is a plastic housing, very inexpensive style bass remote. But hey, it does come with one. And here's a closer look at it. Yeah, this is the same bass remote that comes with the cheapest of cheap amplifiers. So nothing to write home about here other than the fact that, hey, it actually came with one. Now let's pull the amplifier out of the bag. And here it is. First thing you'll notice is the weight. It is not lightweight. It definitely has some weight to it. And very basic looking Nakamichi logo there on the top. All the goodies that come with the amplifier, bass remote, the accessories, the fuse holder, the fuse, and the manuals. Tells us to go to nakamichicaraudio.com, so that's what we did, and we went to the amplifier section. There's only 2 listed, a 1200 watt NO-TD1200.1 and a 4-channel FHA 400. Where's the other one? Where's the one that we got? Well, we did a Google search and found it on the nakamichicaraudio.india.com. That's right, on the India website, not on the American site. Very strange. As far as ratings go, 4 ohms 1,000 watts, 2 ohms 1,600, and 1 ohm 3,000 times 1. Again, this is an $82 amplifier at the time of this video. This is crazy numbers for that price. As far as dimensions go, 9.25 inches for the length, 7.5 inches for the width, 2.1 inches for the height. Millimeter equivalents are there as well. And if that's not good enough for you, here's a comparison to my banana hands.
Wow, man, look at those mitts. Man, it's like grabbing a bunch of bananas.
This is not a Mickey Mouse program.
Back to the lecture at hand. Let's take a look at the one end of the amplifier here. We can see we got a lot going on. We have the high-level input adapter there on the left side. It comes with the cable, of course, in the bag. RCA inputs. These are not from Zenith. We also have a level control from 200 millivolts to 5 volts. We have a high-pass and a low-pass adjustment there. This is a full range capable monoblock. Also, we have a bass boost from 0 to 10 dB. There is no mention though of what frequency we are boosting. A little bit further down the amp, we have the bass remote slot. We have the power and protect LEDs. Gladly, the power is green, protect is red. That's the colors they should be. Also, we have the active cooling fan there at the end with the cutout slot so that the air can freely flow in and out of the amplifier. It's also important to note that a high-pass filter can be used just as a subsonic filter if you'd like. On the opposite side of the amp, we have not a whole lot going on here. So we have a couple terminals here for the power and for the speakers. Let's talk about the sizes though. First up, the speaker. There's only one output for speaker. It is 4 gauge though, so it accepts very large wire for your speaker. And then we have the power, ground, and remote. The power and ground accepts 0 gauge and has an angled screw which keeps the wire in nice and tight. Now we've got the amp hooked up on the bench. Let's fire up the SMD Demo Engineering Amplifier Dyno to find out what this amp really does. On the left, you'll see the power output in watts. In the middle, the ohm load. On the right, the voltage of the dyno. We'll also have the remote clamp so we can estimate the amplifier's efficiency.
You know how them sound waves go?
Yes, we know how those sound waves go, but how does 4 ohms mono go? It's rated 1,000 watts, 1% THD. We're not sure about the voltage. Certified test takes us 1% distortion. Check this out, right at 1,000 watts, 1,004, 14.49. I was honestly shocked at that. I didn't think it was going to do the rated power. Uncertified to clipping, we should be able to get a little bit more than that 1,000. And yeah, it's just literally a little bit more. 1,025 at 14.47. Again, we are using the 40 hertz track for these tests. At the very end of the video, I'm going to do 1 kilohertz, but you can wait for that. Dynamically, we'll send a pulse tone of 40 hertz into the amp. This amplifier does not have much dynamic capability. As you can see, 1,025 at 14.28. 2 ohms mono, it's rated 1,600 watts, 1% distortion. Can we get that certified? Right at it, 1555, only 45 watts away, right at 14.4. What about up to the clipping point? Can we beat that 1,600 watts that it's rated? And yes, we can. 1,650 at 14.35. Color me impressed. I had no idea that an $82 amplifier could do this kind of power. Dynamically, again, we're not seeing a big difference in dynamics. This amplifier just does not have dynamic capability, but we got 1684 at 14.5 volts. Finally, we're going to do the 1 ohm test. It's rated 3,000 watts at 10% distortion. Let's see what we get here. Certified, and oh yeah, a little bit shy there. 2,081, 14.32. Now what about when we try uncertified to clipping? Of course, we have to be careful with these full bridge Class D amps going up to clipping, because if you keep it in clipping very long, it will go up in smoke. 2285, 14.22. So we're quite a ways away from that 3,000 watts that they suggest it does. What about dynamically? And we're still not getting anywhere close. 2,300, almost 2,400. Well, we're going to get it. 2406, 14.24. Here are all the results of all the tests I ran. Include 8 ohms mono. Efficiencies are there as well. Of course, it did rated or more in all loads except for 1 ohm. Didn't quite get there. Also, the efficiency was hurting a little bit. Now, on the back of the amp, it says this is a max power of 18,000 watts, made in China. Let's take off the 4 screws on the bottom here and take a good look at the internals. And what do we got? Here you go. We got some capacitors. We got some transformers, we got some transistors, we got some surface mount devices, all kind of good stuff. What about the capacitors though? We have 3,300 microfarad, 63 volt, 105 degrees Celsius there for the rails, 2,200 microfarad, 25 volts for the power supply. And we'll do the flyover so you can see all the goodies inside of this amplifier. Let's take off some of these clamps here, find out what kind of transistors we're looking at. And there you can see the IRF 1404s on the power supply section going all the way across. Pretty impressive. Also, for the outputs, it was really difficult to see these. I'm not sure if they actually attempted to rub off the face so you could not read what these transistors are, but I think I got it. So once we got a little bit closer here, I think these are the IRFB 4227s, which are 200 volt single N channel power MOSFETs in the TO220 package. That's right. Now let's move on to the Do It Bump Dose section. We're going to try the 6,000 watt massive audio subwoofer, see how it bumps. literally shaking the whole box. I gotta say, for $82, I wouldn't be complaining. Let's talk the pros and cons though. First off, obviously the watts per dollar cannot be beat here. Rated power at 4 and 2 ohms. Has 0 gauge for your power and ground, 4 gauge for your speaker, and yes, as we just showed, it bumped pushing that 6,000 watt 12-inch subwoofer to the extreme. What about things that could be better? It's overrated at 1 ohm, has a single speaker output even though it's a monoblock. We like to see 2 outputs. Dual inputs may not work due to the way that these angle terminals work with the screw. Has a cheap bass remote, unknown reliability. Only the name Nakamichi remains, and this deal won't last. In fact, by the time you watch this video, these might already be sold out. And I apologize. That was not the reason I did the video. I was just curious about this amp. I know some of you have bought it. Some of you found the deal. And anyway, hope you guys appreciate it. Make sure you smash me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you like this content. And stick around for more. We always have more coming. Till next time, Big D, I'm out of here. End of the video crew knows to stick around because we usually show extra stuff here. Let's try certified at 1 ohm, 1 kilohertz. You notice it did not count cleanly, but we did get 2292, 14.34. What about uncertified up to clipping? Can we get closer to that 3,000 watts? It's rated at 1 ohm. It is rated at 10% distortion, but clipping should be that plus some. And we get 2290 up to clipping as well. 1 ohm, 1 kilohertz. What about that dynamic pulse track? Maybe that can get us 3,000 watts. Let's see. Nope, not gonna make it. Even at more than 14.4, 2667, 14.56 at 1 ohm. Now watch that subwoofer bump. Make sure you check my other videos. More coming all the time. Big D signing out for today. I'm out.